You never know. Hey, it's Morgan here from Highland Cycles, here for our live show. It is a little bit late, 7:33, so I'm going to give everybody a chance to jump on here. Going to drink coffee. Yeah, we're here to talk about tires, mainly my review of the Shinko 216 fat front tire and the 505 cheater. Corbin Davis is watching. What's up, Corbin? Good to see you. Are you still chewing tobacco? You should stop if you are. That's my public announcement. Yeah, things are going well. It's Thursday. That means dirt bikes tonight. So if you are in the valley, not in the valley, I don't care where you are, go ride your dirt bike. Hey, what's happening, Brian Futch? Good morning. Jamie Nance is leaving. I'm just going to say, Jamie Nance is here. He's taking off. Have a good one, man.
Thanks.
You bet. Jamie is with Westcore. This is their thing. Quick plug for Westcore. Westcore is our local trail advocacy group. Just getting started. They've been going for a little while now. Not a year, but anyway, they're doing awesome stuff, helping clear trails up on the plateau, doing all kinds of things. Hey, Bryce, what's happening? Good to see you. Anyway, Westcore, really cool. They're based right here in Montrose, Colorado. They're working on getting a grant from Yamaha, I just learned, to get some equipment to help do more trail clearing and more awesome things. They're really helping our motorized community out. Hello, good sir, and yes, stop chewing tobacco. Hey, everybody who watches this, tell Corbin Davis to stop chewing tobacco. I'm using this as a platform to help people stop him from chewing tobacco because it looks stupid and he's going to get mouth cancer and die. D. Gibbs, what is up? You're watching. That's cool. I'm glad to see you. All right, let's get on. Dusty Merch, what's up? Yeah, we're building. Lots of people watching. This is good. I'm psyched. Coming to you live. Hey, Harry Reynolds from the Nobby Lobby here in Montrose, Colorado. Highland Cycles. Nobby Lobby filled with lots of fun tires for shredding the dirts and the things. All right, let's start with the front tire. I'm trying to look in the right place. Yeah, there you go, Brian. Good. The Shinko 216 fat front tire. Okay, it is a copy of the golden tire, fatty, whatever they call it. It even says right there, oh, Fat Tyre. So, I normally don't like fat front tires. I've tried other 90 width tires. This is a 90-121. I've tried other ones that I haven't liked them. My biggest complaint normally is that they want to walk up on the sides of trails and ruts and things like that. Maybe it's because I'm not as good a rider as I should be, but everybody's been talking about the 216, so I figured I'd give it a shot. I have paired the 216 up with the 90-100 Nitro Mousse. Installing that, let's start with that. Installing the 90-100 in the 90-100 tire is harder than installing the smaller mousse into a smaller tire because I think it just fits. It's a lot closer fit, but it's totally doable. We've put a bunch of them in. It fills up the tire really well. It definitely makes the tire feel a bit stiff at first. It's pretty rock hard when you put that on. New tire, new bib. And I don't know. It is not my favorite front tire. I'm going to say that right now. It's not my favorite front tire. A lot of people love it. Everybody keeps raving about it. Good. Okay, Skinny's Guide better. So, what is the point of having a fat front? So, a lot of people like it because they feel like they get more traction out of it. They feel like it grips better. I can say, from my own personal point of view, that it works better than any front tire in the really wet, rooty, greasy situations, like on our Uncompahgre Plateau, which is, mountains, black dirt, green trees, grass, rivers, the whole thing. When it rains up there and the roots are wet and the rocks are wet and it's slippery and the all that stuff that you're hitting wants to dart you around from side to side and make you go bang on the ground. That is where this thing hooks up, right? It's a pretty soft tire, kind of gummy, not super gummy like the rear that we're going to talk about. But with that big footprint, it kind of rolls over all that stuff and seems to grab better than a normal front tire. And so I think if I were going to go to a mud race or a race where I knew it was going to be wet, this would be a great choice. But I found it lacking. Joe Rosen, what's up? I found this thing lacking out at Dry Creek. So Dry Creek is just west of Montrose. If you don't know where it is, come ride with me. I'll show you. It's awesome. It's one of my favorite places to ride. It's very deserty, very red sandstone-y, dry. Obviously, kind of goes with the word desert. So it was not awesome out in the desert. It felt a little bit vague. Like it was hard to get the thing to turn. We'd actually had a little bit of rain. What's up, Mark? How's it going? We'd had a little bit of rain out there, and so things were pretty, like, conditions were pretty good, but there's almost like a little crust over some dry dirt. Anyway, I felt like it was wanting to push out on turns. And that is on, so that's riding the new rental KTM that we have. By the way, quick plug for that. We have a 2018 250 XCW completely decked out with all the best suspension, all the best guards, everything. It's awesome. $250 a day. I was riding that to break it in, check it out, out there with this tire setup on it, and it just wasn't real confidence inspiring. But that same bike on the plateau in wet conditions, the tire worked well. MX 216 90, yeah. So that's it. That's what I'm running. Well, no, it's the 9100, excuse me. And it was just kind of vague feeling. That I think is, I don't know if that's a good thing necessarily, but it worked well in the wet stuff. I didn't love it in the desert, to be brutally honest. Let me tell you that. Okay, Grant, right on. You're running both and love them. Awesome. A ton of people. Javier, my mechanic / suspension guru of the world, loves that front tire. Okay, he loves it. So I'm just saying this is my own personal opinion, the way I ride. If you've ever ridden with me, I'm kind of always out of control and bouncing off of everything. And that's just my style, if you want to call it, or lack of talent. And Kerry Buffington Christopherson, what is up? Hi. That's the way I ride. I am a huge fan of the Bridgestone M59. The M59 feels like a laser beam to me. Like I can guide that thing right where I want it. I can say that in the wet routes, it's not great. And it gets a little skatey, and you sort of end up wanting to like fall down. You gotta slow down. Where the 216 works better in that situation. But out in the desert, it's definitely it's almost like the 216 floats a little too much on the soft stuff and wants to push around, whereas the M59 wants to dive and bite. I'm gonna grab one of those real fast so you can see what it looks like. So that is the Bridgestone M59, the venerable Bridgestone M59. Arguably my favorite tire ever, front tire ever. I seriously love the Bridgestone M59 for almost every condition. Like I said, I think if I go into a race and I can predict the weather and I know it's going to be greasy and slimy, I'll probably put the Shinko Fat Tyre on. But in almost every other condition, me personally, again, I'm not saying this is the truth. I'm just saying it's how I feel. I like the Bridgestone M59. Anybody else out there who's running the 216 Fat Tyre and you have any comments, chuck them up. Let me know. I want to hear from all of you and like what you guys like to ride. And quick background on my riding ability. They held up well around Bonanza, very sharp rocks. Okay, right on. Yeah, I can actually say that I completely agree with holding up well. I have this setup, which is the 216 on the front and the 505 on the back, on both my personal YZ250 two-stroke and the rental bike, which is the 18 250 XCW. Both bikes are suspension is valved and set up for me, well, for anyone really, and Both bikes work, pretty well with those tires, but I just feel like that big Fat Tyre is a little vague. And then out at Hartman's, I rode it with my YZ, with my boys, and it felt like Hartman's is very cupped. Like a lot of the trails are U-shaped for whatever reason, and it felt like it wanted to kind of wander up on the sides. I think it's because those big, it's just such a giant tire. It almost looks like a rear tire, really. It's huge. So there's that. We'll go back to that again. I'm running 260. Hey, Wade Shear, running the Shinko 216 Fat Tyre, the 9121 with the 9121 Nitro Moose. Again, it's a little stiff. It might get better as the Moose breaks in. I've only got probably 100 miles on either of them, so we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna run them till they're worn out. They're not so bad that I'm taking them off. Let's put it that way. All right, rear tire. The Shinko 505 Cheater. Probably the most talked about. What's up, Daniel Hanley? The 505 is one of the most talked about rear tires I've ever heard of recently. It's the next in the line of the kind of gummy tire. Run the fat in the front, first ride, felt friendly and stuck to the trail. Good. So 505, I feel much better about this tire than the front tire. Like I said, the front tire in the greasy stuff was great. The 505 in the back is pretty much awesome everywhere. I will get to where it doesn't work. So I am running the 110-100 18, running the fatty with Moose. Yes, you are, Wade. I know that. So I'm running the 110-100 18 on both the YZ250 and the 250 XCW. I'm running the 120 100 Nitro Moose. Yeah, so Grant, completely agree about that. Grant says that he ran used to run a trials tire. This is so much better. Could not agree more. I dislike trials tires on the back of my personal motorcycle. I know a lot of guys love them. That's awesome. Let me put not a warning, but a note out there. If you like your tires, I'm so stoked for you. If you're like amped about them, you want to tell the world about them, you want to sell what I think I'm so awesome, right? Like, I don't care. These are just my opinions from a guy who likes to ride dirt bikes a whole lot. I spend lots of time on them. I'm not really fast. I'm definitely not very talented. So anyway, these are my opinions. I love this tire. It is phenomenal. It's sticky and gummy, but I like the tread pattern. It's relatively open. It's not super open like the 525, but it's relatively open, so it grips pretty well in the soft stuff, way better than a trials bike in the soft stuff. And it's got side knobs, unlike a trials tire. And so these side knobs help you when you're like, for me, for instance, like pinning it in a straight line, because I'm good at that. I'm really good at going straight fast. And then I get to a turn, and I'm like, oh no, I'm going to a turn. And I cram on the brakes, and I pitch the thing sideways. Hey, Portal. Pitch the thing sideways, and I'm like sliding into a turn like this. With a trials tire, if you're coming into a turn like that, it breaks loose and tries to pass you because it has no side knobs. This thing doesn't do that. It wants to stick and help you get around the turn. I really like this tire. The only complaint, I've got two complaints with this tire. The first one is that it's not holding up as well as some people say. Again, those kind of telling someone that something is going to hold up really well in certain conditions is kind of hard to, it's hard to buy, right? Because everybody rides differently. I spin the rear tire a bunch. Even on the XCW, I'm ham-fisted is the best way I can put it with my right hand. And so I spin the tire. My favorite setup today is Sedona's gummy and Bridgestone on the front. Right? Which Bridgestone, Corbin? Which Sedona? I'd just like to know and tell everybody in the world. Hillary Kasnick, what's up? How's it going? So I spin the rear tire because my right wrist doesn't work very well. I don't have very much throttle control. So being that I spin the tire, I end up wearing out tires fast anyway, and that soft 505 is wearing out pretty quickly. Maybe at the end of the video, I'll actually grab the. I'm back on the on the phone, by the way, because of all the pixelation before. So hopefully this doesn't pixelate. But hey, Matt, what's happening? Matt, where are you from again? Let us know. So it's kind of wearing out fast for like a trail rider kind of thing. Grant, interested in trying to get on a larger rocks or not just loose and sharp. Yeah. I think also, Grant, one of the things about like the Dry Creek areas where I spent 45 of those miles on that rear tire is it's sandstone and it's really grippy rock. And when you spin the tire, it tears up tires really fast. Wisconsin, right on, man. Good to see you. Jim Wells coming in from Kansas, I believe. So when you spin tires on grippy sandstone rock, it wears tires out, and that one's wearing out a little faster. So that's not a huge problem for me. I like having fresh tires anyway, and I like grip better than I like longevity. So, you know, whatever. Also, the 505 is pretty inexpensive. I think we're selling them for $86, $89 for the 110, 100, 18. I have to look. I can't remember. That's probably something I should research before I do one of these shows. The other problem with the 505 is that I experienced this on the plateau, and it's why they make a 525, but I took the 505 up onto the plateau in the greasiness. Hey, Seth, what's happening? I was in the greasiness, and it's going, oh, Kentucky, dang. That's even further away, so awesome, Jim. Jim Wells is from Kentucky. Way to go. Anyway, Jim's a good dude. We talk a bunch on the line, as my mother-in-law would say. So, okay, back to the plateau. It's pouring rain, right, which is awesome right now. So happy to have rain. It's pouring rain. It's rain all over us. My kids with us. We're out there having a blast, like little kids in a ditch, right? And we're going. It's working great. The tire setup, both the 216 and the 505 is working great because the roots are wet, the rocks are wet. It's sticking great. We're having fun. And then we get, hey, Chandler Henry. Then we get going and we start going up this one hill, and it actually gets really muddy. Not just slick with roots, but like actual like thick mud, and the thing spun up immediately and lost traction. I was like, it really kind of surprised me, mainly because any other tire would have done it also, but it had been sticking so well before that when I got to that, it spun up. Okay, MX880ST and the X20 is what Corbin's run. Corbin is pretty fast, but he's dumb and chews tobacco. So everybody, tell him to stop chewing tobacco. Sorry, Corbin, I have to give you a hard time. So it doesn't. The 505, when it gets muddy and the mud wants to cling to the tire, it doesn't clean well. I think that's because, as you can see, it's a relatively tight tread pattern, whereas the 525 from Shinko has a lot more open tread pattern, and it's actually more of their like East Coast mud tire, and from what I understand, it works really well. I have not run one yet, so I can't personally say, but I have seen them after not too many miles, and they kind of come apart if you're in the rocks and stuff. Thanks, Brian. Mark, don't like the fatty front, but currently trying the Shinko 546 has been good. As the nitro, I can't see. Hang on, I'm gonna touch this. As the nitro breaks in. Okay, yeah, right on. Yeah, Mark. Like I said, the fatty front, I don't think I'm gonna be buying it anymore for my bikes. I'm gonna run them until they're worn out, and so I can at least have a mileage and you know how they do when they start to get rounded off and things like that. But I'm with you on that. I like a narrower tire. That's just who I am. That's the way we all are. 525 works amazing, says Seth Salisbury. I've heard that the 525 is awesome. That's going to be probably my next rear tire to try. Let me back up and just give all of you guys a... yeah, I know. 5 minutes has already begun, giving you our time. So anyway, let me give you all you guys just a look at, well, not a look, but anyway, what I normally run. So my generally favorite setup is an M59 Bridgestone front, And then I really, 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 really like the Pirelli Scorpion XC Mid-Soft Rear. I am blown away with how that thing works. If you haven't tried one, I seriously think you ought to. Kenny Clamper ran one on a 450. It kind of came apart pretty quickly in the Red Rock sandstony stuff, so he didn't have great luck with it. I've run one everywhere from the high country, 12,000, 13,000 feet around here, down to Oklahoma. Red dirt on the pavement when we race down there every November at the Gold Rush. Join us this year if you want to come. November, the first weekend in November. Come to Oklahoma, race the Gold Rush. It's super cool. But we you do a lap of pavement every year. Wondering if the 505 will trash on road as quick as trials. Grant, I don't know. I do not spend much time on the road. Billy Aller, how's it going, man? I don't spend much time on the road. None of my bikes are legal. Well, I have an XR650, but it doesn't have that tire on it, so I don't know. Yeah, Oklahoma, that's where I'm from originally. Hey, all my Oklahoma folks, I'm from Oklahoma City, born and raised, moved to Colorado in '94, never looked back. So yeah, that's kind of my quick synopsis on those tires. Again, I'm running the Nitros. I love them. I know that Scott Bright has been having problems with them. I know that he's been super bummed. They've been like coming apart on him, and I don't know what that's all about. But I can tell you that I'm with the Nitros in those tires. They work pretty good. I don't think the handling on the front has anything to do. Chad Hucko, what's happening? Has anything to do with the Nitro. I think it's just that fat front tire, and it's just not my style. See, have you tried running nitrogen or helium in tubes? No, that's stupid. I'm gonna say that. No, I would not put nitrogen or helium in my tubes. First of all, it's a waste of time and money. Second of all, the whole nitrogen, let me just go off. The whole nitrogen in your tire thing, whether it be your car, your bike, I don't know, whatever, is ridiculous, okay? If you look up the composition of air, it's already 70% nitrogen, okay? Hey, Matt Simpson, 70% nitrogen. So why would you friggin' put pure nitrogen into a tire? It's stupid. It's a waste. So anyway, that's my personal, but you guys can go off on that if you want. It doesn't do anything. I mean, nitrogen in your shock makes sense because it gets so hot, it's moving, the bladder and all that's moving. Yeah. Yes, the helium will make your bike float like Chad Hucko through the rock gardens. Chad, by the way, Hucko, everybody say hi to Chad. Chad is the single greatest motorcycle rider of all time. Anyway, putting inert gases in your tires is silly. And then putting air in your tires of any kind is silly because then you get flat. So I'm obviously a Moose fan. I think we all know that. Highly recommend putting Mooses in. Hold on, coffee break. By the way, public announcement, 2 strokes do matter, okay? All strokes matter, but 2 strokes matter more. I'm just gonna say it. What other questions? You guys have any other questions about tires? Again, recap, 216 Fat Tyre, the 9100 is just not my favorite front tire, okay? It works really well in certain situations. Overall, though, not a big fan. So far, it seems to be holding up really, really well, so that's cool. But just not. I'm not gonna go out and buy those for my bike probably again, unless I know I'm going to a muddy, greasy race. Then I probably will. The 505 Cheater rear tire is a really, 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 really good gummy tire. I ran the Kenda Ibex. That lasted 1 day with me running it, and that's just not enough. So 1 day of ride. Of course, it was a big, long, hairy day, but it still was 1 day, and all the knobs were peeling off. So I'm not a Kenda Ibex fan. If you're gonna run a gummy tire, I do really like the 505. Bridgestone 404 lugs rip off really bad. Yeah, the 404 did that. What's your fave? Sorry. Oh, no worries. John Botello. John, hi. Good to hear from you. My favorite front tire Bridgestone M59. Hands down. For all conditions. There it is. That, to me, is the definition of a good enduro tire. And I mean enduro as in off-road. Mark, I have not used a knobby knife. I've seen them used, and they definitely work. In my experience, it just doesn't seem to be worth the time, right? Because it takes a while to do it. You got to figure out what's your time worth in your mind. If you got no money and you got lots of time, then you got a different, you have a different situation than some folks. But the knobby knife, what I've seen is that they, when you use them, it's great. They sharpen back up, but then those knobs wear really fast because you've effectively shrunk them down, and now they're even more flexible. So I think they're really good for traction and all that, but to me, it's just not worth the time. 505 cheater and the 120 lasts forever. Right on. I got to try that. The 120 is a giant 120, and it's really heavy, which people talk about more than I care to listen. But it's one of the only tires I've ever picked up that's like, holy moly, is that a heavy tire. So if you had like a 125, it would be no good. You wouldn't want a 120 on a 125 anyway. I don't tend to have problems with 120s on a 250, or definitely not a 300 or 450. So, my YZ seems to be, the 505 110 seems to be lasting longer on the YZ than on the 250 XCW. Chad Hucko, Shinko 546 soft intermediate seems close to the M59. Oh, he's been using that for a while. Okay, cool. I'll have to try that. The only downside I can say to the M59 is that it costs a freaking ton of money. What up, Jed Murray? The M59s now, we sell all of our tires cheap, not super. We used to do them $10 over cost. I don't do that anymore. It didn't really make sense. we sold a lot of tires, but anyway, we try to compete with internet prices. We're pretty much on par with most of the internet prices on tires, so we do them just a little bit over cost. The M59 is like up over $90 now. Our cost has gone crazy. The cost now is what we were selling them for like 2 years ago. So the M59s are very expensive. So yeah, that's I mean, honestly, that's a holdback, and I get that. Like, I talked about the knobby knife maybe not being worth your time because maybe you could go out and make the money, but man, $90-something for a front tire at the discount, like the retail's like $125 or something crazy. That's an awful lot of money for tires. So I get that maybe that's just not in there. Brian, yeah, we have package deals for sure, especially if you want to talk to us about mooses and tires all together. We can make a deal. I don't have anything like in stone, but we can definitely work out a smoking deal. I know where are you located, Brian? I know we've been talking online here recently, and you're going to maybe come out to Colorado. John Batello, are you talking about the expensiveness of the M59? John gave us a thumbs down. I hope it's not for me, although I'm really not very attractive, so maybe he's just not enjoying watching me. But if you're talking about the thumbs down on the M59 price, totally agree, 100%. Let me know on that. But it does work well. So the beauty of the Shinko tires is that they are really inexpensive. The front is like $60 for that Fat Tyre, and then the rear is like $70, I think. Oh yeah, dude. So Moose totally lasts the life of a tire. It's MOUSSE, Grant. I've been getting my rear. I got the last Nitro. I got 5 tires out of it. I'm gonna grab it and show it to you here real fast. Sorry, I'm off camera. Probably not the best practice. Louis French, what's up? That's my brother-in-law. So this is a Nitro Moose. Yeah, it's all cut up. Don't tell me more lube, okay? Please, no one say more lube. I get it. But this is 5 tires. 5 tires of me banging through the rocks and hitting things with a lack of talent that surpasses most people's ability to do dumb things. I am not, I love riding dirt bikes and I'm okay at it, but I am not very good and I hit a lot of things. So for me, for one to look like this after 5 tires, what up, bro? Damn it, Mark. Damn it. He said more lube. I knew I was going to get that. To get 5 tires out of this makes me super stoked. So, 5 tires for most, a lot of people, that'd be years worth of riding. Yeah, yes, Matt Simpson, absolutely more cow. Damn it, I wish I had a cowbell. Sorry for my swearing. The weight to an HD tube, it's a little heavier. It's a little bit, it's not way heavier than a heavy duty tube, especially not if you're using like the Bridgestone heavy duty tubes, which are like, really heavy duty tubes. But it is heavier. I'm not gonna lie. It's definitely heavier. Not something that I have a problem with. More coffee. There we go. The way, I don't jump a lot, so I'm not up in the air like trying to move the bike, and I know it has to do even on the ground, but the weight doesn't bother me, mainly because I hate flats. Flats really bother me. Flats really upset me an amazing amount because they ruin my day, or at least part of my day that I should be riding. So that's why I run mooses. It's not because of feel, it's not because of performance, it's not because of any of that crap. It's because I don't want flats ever, 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 ever. There you go. I don't run tubeless because I don't like checking 2 tire pressures per wheel every time you ride. And they still go flat. We had a great example of that during Ride Montrose this last weekend. We had a dude with tubeless, got a flat out at Dry Creek, and it slowed us down. We got it fixed. He's all good. But it definitely cut into our ride time, which is not awesome. We still got plenty of riding done, so it wasn't a big deal, and we had a blast. But it happens. I don't like flats. That's why I run mooses. Other questions about tires. You can see we got lots of them here. That one is, yes, John. I spoke to Scotty Bright and he confirms he's using too small of a nitro for his tires. Okay. Awesome, Jeffrey. Thank you very much for tuning in. Scott is a freaking amazing rider. He's been to 6 days. He's been to Dakar. He's a badass, right? He puts on an awesome race coming up in another couple weeks or a week and a half. Scott knows stuff. Yeah, back to work. Right on, Grant. You bet. Message us anytime that you need any information. We're happy to help out. Anyway, Scott knows what's up. He knows how to change moose. He knows how to lube moose, all that stuff, and he was having a lot of problems. So it's good to know that he was putting too small a one in there, and that was causing his failure. At least I hope so. Hey, Nicole Bradford, what's happening? We're talking about tires and mooses. Mainly tires. I just like the blanket thing is I love mooses. But tires, let's go back over real quick. It's a little past 30 minutes, so I'm just going to go real quick and then give you the news for Highland Cycles. Shinko 216 90-121 fat front tire. My personal belief, not my favorite. Works great in the really wet, slick, greasy rock and stuff. Doesn't work great in the dry. Seems vague on its steering. Jamie Nance just tuned in. So not my favorite. Not saying you shouldn't run it. A lot of people like it. I think everybody should probably try it. If you like riding in the mountains and in the less than ideal conditions, probably ought to give it a shot. Again, that one looks like this. It's a Golden Tire, basically. Someone can probably chime in and talk about how Golden Tire owns the manufacturing facility and all that. Anyway, whatever. It's basically a Golden Tire fat front tire made by Shinko. It's a great tire in the right conditions. It's just not a super versatile tire, and it's vague feeling to me. Also, it kind of wants to walk up on ruts. So there's that. The 505 Shinko Cheater for the rear is a gummy. Hey Brian, what's happening from Oklahoma? Oklahoma for life. The is a really, really good option for a sticky rear tire. It seems to be holding up pretty darn well for a gummy tire. It doesn't hold up as well as, for instance, my favorite, the Pirelli right now, Scorpion XC mid-soft, works really good on 2 strokes. Little fella. So, 505 though, I can endorse this. I think it's a great tire. If you like riding in the mountains, you want something that sticks. It's inexpensive. Seth Felix, what's up? Good, really good tire. Yeah, I got nothing really bad to say about it. It doesn't work great in the really soft stuff. It doesn't work great when it gets really muddy out, like the thick mud. It tends to pack up and not clean well. If that's not a problem for you, then you'll love it. The 525 is better for that condition. Wow, Brian just pooped his pants. That's awesome. What do you mean no laughing? I'm going to laugh at you for pooping your pants, even though he didn't. I run both of them. I'm running both with a Nitro Mousse. This is the 505 Cheaters. The one I'm running is a 110 118. I'm running the 120 118 Nitro Mousse because that's what they call for on their sizing chart. And the Shinko Fat Front Tire, the 216, the 90 100. I'm running the 90 100 Nitro Mousse. Both of them fit pretty tight in these when they're brand new, and they take a little bit. Ibex is not the best, Brian. Ibex is not the best. I'm calling you out. Well, maybe it sticks better, but the Ibex for me came apart in one day, so I can't afford that. Brian is clearly uber wealthy and loves it. No, oh boy, I just did that. The Ibex is a great sticky tire. Dang it. There we go. But it doesn't. Yes. Yeah. Anyway, I'm not endorsing the Ibex. You are. Well, that's good. I'm glad. But I don't like the Ibex. Even if I had all the money in the world, the Ibex would bum me out because I wore one out in like 60 miles. Of course, again, it's a lot of tire spinning because I have no throttle control. Quick news update, everybody. We have a rental bike. It's a 2018 KTM 250 XCW. Suspension has been revalved and set up super, super plush by Javier Gonzalez, our local and awesome suspension guru and mechanic. It's got all the guards on it. It's super, super awesome. Check out our Facebook page. If you want to know more about it, it's all over there. We have links to check out the spec sheet and all that. It's $250 a day, $500 deposit to cover any breakage or anything like that. And it's ready to go, ready to be rented. It's carbureted well. It runs great. It's amazing. Thursday night ride tonight. Go ride your dirt bike. I don't care where you are in the world. Ride your dirt bike tonight. It's super duper important. VIP program that we are offering is super cool. It's $250 a year. You get one free Blitz service with that. You get a maintenance logbook, and most importantly, you get front of the line service. You come in, we got other bikes on the lift that are not part of the VIP program. They come off, you go on, we fix your bike or service it, put tires on, whatever, and you're out back riding. It is geared, tuned for the guy who likes to take really good care of their motorcycle and not miss any time riding. We're only, by the way, selling 50 slots for that. Only 50 slots, period, for the VIP. So we've already sold a few, so they're going, and when they're sold out, they'll be done. It's good for a calendar year from the time you buy it, so you get a full year of VIP service. You also get 15% off parts, 10% off labor, so that's actually a pretty big savings right there. And yeah, we'll treat you like a very important person. We actually do that for everyone anyway, but this is a way of people who want to jump to the front of the line because they don't have time to miss rides. So anyway, hope everybody has a great day. I want you to get out there and ride your dirt bikes!